Hello, and welcome to the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast for November 3rd, 2024. This is episode 312. Stand-up comedian, actor, improviser, and dreamer, and guy who was up way too late. Paul Green coming to you, sharing my journey as I pursue my dreams in hopes that maybe you'll pursue yours as well. So, today was a pretty relaxed but good day for me. I didn't actually have anything scheduled, which is just kind of nice when you just have a day where it's like, I get to decide what happens on this day. So what happened on this day? So I woke up and I had a couple messages from the guy who was helping me with the advertising for the Midlife Crisis comedy show, as we have two shows coming up in November. We have a show this week, November 6th, and we have a show in a couple weeks on November 21st. And so we have been advertising the crap out of the show coming up, and we just started getting the advertising up and running for the show in a couple of weeks. And so I woke up today and I just went, we released a couple live episodes. By the way, if this is your first time joining me, the Midlife Crisis comedy show is a two-person comedy show that I do with fellow comedian Josh Novy, who's incredibly funny. And it's a very unique comedy show. It's not like all those other comedy shows that you've seen. So we do a little bit of stand-up, but then predominantly what the show is just glorified crowd work. So we bring people on stage that we pull up randomly from the crowd with their consent, and then we talk to them, we riff about what's going on in their life, and then we improvise a song about them, and it's incredibly fun. And we had a handful of episodes that we had filmed, but it just took a while to get those edited and ready to go. So a couple of them have finally released on our YouTube channel, and I watched one of them, and I don't often brag about myself, but it was so good. It was so funny. The first woman we interviewed was just so hysterical, and Josh and I were just riffing. We were in sync. We were popping. And just some hilarious things came out of that interaction. And then the song was super fun. And I just thought to myself, I'm like, man, I really want to start cutting this show up and releasing it. And then I was like, oh, that show would also be really good to cut an ad from. Because obviously in our ads, we take bits and pieces from the different shows that we've done. And I just thought that interaction was so funny and so much fun. So I spent a couple 3 hours piecing together a brand new ad to throw into the mix of I've got 8 different ads that I've already created that we're running. So we did that. I got that ad edited and put together, and then threw that into the mix, and then set up the ads for our Yuma show because we hadn't run those yet. It's just a lot of work advertising. There's a reason why companies hire full-fledged advertising companies to just go here, you figure this out. We have no idea what's going on. And I'm in the I have no idea what's going on phase. And so anyway, we're getting a little help from a gentleman out in London who's more strategic. He doesn't really get into the creative side of things. He's just like, well, give me the ads and then I'll figure out demographics and where to place them and budgeting and how to optimize and scale. And so we'll see how that goes. So spent a lot of time doing that today. Watched some Sunday football. My Arizona Cardinals victorious for 3 games in a row. By the way, the Cardinals have not won 2 games in a row since 2021. That's really, really bad. So, did that. And then it was pretty much just getting on to doing my daily tasks. So I've been doing a modified 75 hard. If you are not familiar with that program, it's sort of a disciplinary program where for 75 days you do these daily tasks. The 75 hard is like every day you exercise twice for 45 minutes a piece, and one of those exercises has to be outside. You drink a gallon of water. I think you read 10 pages of a book. You hold to a strict diet, no alcohol. There might be another one. So I've done 75 hard as is a couple times before. It's pretty difficult. Getting two 45-minute exercises. Oh, and they have to be an hour apart, so you can't just exercise for 90 minutes. That's a real challenge. I found the hardest thing, though, was drinking a gallon of water every day. Trying to just pummel my stomach with a gallon of water every single day was the most brutal part of this whole 75 hard program. But I did it, and I've done it twice, maybe 3 times. And I have recognized that I am getting way off my dieting, way off my exercising and all of that. So once I start to get just way irresponsible with like my soda drinking, my exercising, I sort of need like this drastic overcorrection. And that's when I do 75 hard. So I did 75 hard, I think, last year, 2023, I seem to remember, or maybe late 2022. Yeah, I feel like I started at late 22 and finished it like early 2023. And, so it's been about almost 2 years since I did it last. And I'm just, I'm seeing the gut get bigger and bigger because of all of that soda. And just not feeling healthy, not feeling good, all of my joints hurting, my digestive system being off, and it's just because I drink too much, just drink way too much soda. It's just way too much, and I know it. I don't need anybody to tell me how bad it is for me. I am aware I don't drink it due to lack of understanding that it's not good for me. I do it because it's addictive, and it's a behavioral pattern, and I'm sure there's probably something deeper that, of all the therapy I've done in my life, I haven't quite uncovered that one, but maybe we'll get there someday. Got to call my friends at BetterHelp. But anyway, so I started over. However, the 75 hard as is isn't quite exactly what I need to be focusing on. Like 2 exercises a day, I mean, that's great. If like being really fit was what I'm actually going for. But my goals are a little different than that. So I like 1 45-minute exercise, 2 45-minute exercises. I just don't need that. But what I need to be focusing on right now is writing. So what I did is I actually took the 75 hard, it's like an app, and you download it, right? And then they have these progress reports where you like check off everything you did. So I took a screenshot of that. I put it into Canva. If you don't know Canva, it's a photo editing software online. It's like Photoshop. And I just whited out their program, and then I just typed up my own 75 hard. So my program, what I'm doing is 45-minute exercise session, 1 45-minute writing session. See, I swapped out a second exercise session for a writing session because I'm like, that's actually more important to me right now is to write every day than to exercise twice. I did a half gallon of water because that is still plenty. A gallon is just obnoxious. It's just obnoxious. I don't need a gallon of water. It's winter. Even in Arizona summer, I don't need a gallon of water. And by the way, nobody fact-checked me on that. Go like, well, technically, you need to be drinking 44 ounces of water every 23 minutes for proper blah, 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 blah. Listen, I am doing my best here, and a half gallon of water to me is plenty of water, and it is significantly more than I drink on any sort of regular basis on any other given day. So, 45 minutes exercise, 45 minutes of writing, half gallon of water, no soda, period. Just no soda, not even diet. I've been experimenting in the last year or so with like, well, I'll just have diet soda. I'll have Coke Zero, whatever. And I got a physical a couple of weeks ago, and my doctor pretty much said, yeah, that diet soda, it actually causes belly fat. And there's been a lot of studies that the artificial sweeteners are not good for you either. So I'm just like, you want to know what? I just got to nix it. I got to Bo Nix it, like the quarterback from the Denver Broncos. Just nix it. So that is really actually my only diet, is half a gallon of water and no soda. I can eat anything else I want. I could drink anything else I want. Trying to think of, I had some milk this last week. I had a thing of milk. I had a milkshake. But other than that, the only thing I've had to drink is water. And I'll tell you, me just cutting out soda though is like 80% of my bad calories. So that's why I go, like, when I cut out soda, it's like, I'm going to have a milkshake. I'm going to have a little dessert. Like, because the amount of sugar that I have cut out of my diet is significant. And that way it doesn't become so unbearable, if I were just to say, no carbs, no sugar, no joy, no happiness. I'm doing the best I can, everybody. And by the way, I also don't need an explanation about how carbs are sugar and that when you eat carbs, they become sugar. Yes, I am aware. And I am also aware that milkshakes also have sugar in them. This is catered to me and what I am trying to do. And whatever you're out there trying to do, I applaud you and I say go for it. But I do really think it's important for each of us, whatever it is that we're striving for, is to really understand ourselves. And I think we have a tendency as human beings to try to always have this like one-size-fits-all sort of mega solution. Like, this is the way. This is the only way it has to be done. And if it isn't this, then whatever. And, more power to you. There are definitely systems and, diets and exercise regimes and philosophies and theories. I mean, there's so many different ways to live your life. I am just looking at this as, what do I know my major weaknesses are, my biggest vices, my biggest addictions, and what am I striving for? What is my goal? And how can I cater whatever system or whatever accountability or whatever program or system or app or whatever, how can I cater that to what I know I will need and what will help me stick to it so that I can improve and ultimately accomplish what I'm going for. So just knocking off soda is huge for me. And if I knock off soda, you want to know what? I'm gonna get a little sugar somewhere else, you know what I'm saying? But just a little bit. Just a little bit. I ain't pounding 44 ounces of Dr. Pepper 6-7 times a day, you know what I mean? I'll have the apple turnovers. You know what's really interesting I noticed is that my appetite though has shrank. Yeah. Has shrank drastically. So even tonight, I have only had one meal today. I didn't eat all day. I was just in my room working away and then watching some NFL. I didn't really even feel hungry. And then I went to the gym and I worked out for 45 minutes and I didn't want to eat right before the gym. So it was after the gym, I went and grabbed some food. I got the dessert. The dessert plate was like, I got like these apple turnovers, and it was like 2 apple turnovers with a scoop of ice cream and a little thing of caramel. I ate like 3/4 of one of the apple turnovers. It's like a triangle, about the size of like a medium-sized pizza slice. And like 3 or 4 bites of the ice cream. And I didn't want any more. And so I just go, that's interesting that, I'm cutting soda out of my diet. So I still have a craving for sugar. But when I do eat sugar, I don't want that much of it. I'm just kind of like, oh, that's good. So it makes me feel good because overall, my sugar calorie intake is significantly less than what it was just a week ago before I started doing this. And I'm feeling that. I am feeling so much better. I went to the gym tonight and I played basketball for the first time in several months. And it just felt good. My body felt really good. It's amazing just how devastating sugar is to my body. And yet, soda specifically, and yet I'm just so addicted to it. Isn't that fascinating how conscious human beings are of how destructive our bad habits are, and yet we just still do them? Like the amount of willpower and determination to not do the thing we know is not good for us is just so remarkably huge. It's going to be huge. And it's just weird. Isn't that kind of weird that's just how it is? Whatever your vice is, whatever my vice is, it's like, I know better. If I wasn't doing this, I'd feel better. But I still do it. And then I have to, put myself on these strict regimes just to curb a little soda addiction. But I'm doing everybody just day by day, and just always trying to be better, trying to be healthy, trying to take care of my body, trying to get better at writing, trying to get better at advertising, trying to, get the comedy show successful, trying to get better at comedy myself, all of the things. And I will say this to sort of close out this podcast today, and that is, I caught myself this morning when I woke up and started doing that advertising. I caught myself kind of in a bad attitude. Like I was a little curmudgeon-y, just like, I got to do this. How come I got to make all these ads? And, I was just kind of bitter and whatever, but I was still doing it, I was like, I'll do it. Yeah, whatever. And I caught myself in that. I'm just going, whoa, wait a minute here. Why do I have a bad attitude right now? It was really interesting because it just reminded me of how much of our attitude and emotional state and demeanor actually is voluntary. Like, nothing bad happened when I woke up this morning. Nobody cut me off at the freeway. Didn't get fired. Didn't get dumped. Didn't get yelled at. Nobody at the store was a jerk to me. I just woke up, had this thing to do, and I just sort of chose a bad attitude. I sort of defaulted to a bad attitude. And I just caught myself on that and just decided, no, I'm going to have a good attitude about this. It took me a couple hours, by the way. Like I was stewing in whatever that sort of me attitude was. And then I just went, you want to know what? This is awesome that I get to do this, that I have the resource to do this. There's this incredible show that I got to be a part of that now I get to watch, and now I get to cut that up and use that to inspire people to come to our show, hopefully. And it just reminded me to be joyful and grateful in everything that I do. And if I'm not being joyful and grateful, that's a me problem almost always. Sure, there are situations where maybe there's mistreatment going on, or, you know, I'm not being respected or whatever and blah, blah, blah. But even then, it's like, well, I still get to choose how I feel and how I respond and what my attitude is. And if I don't like my attitude, that is something that I can consciously change. And if I'm defaulting to a certain attitude, well, now I have a behavior and a habit that's probably similar to like my soda addiction. It's like, oh, this isn't objective reality. This is just a habit that I have formed over years. And now I have the choice to break that habit if I choose. And I'm choosing to break some bad attitude habits and just see if I can be a little bit more lighter, a little bit more joyful, a little bit more just, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I'm happy to do it, and I have a chance to. And how about not being snarky or bitter or whatever it was that I was this morning? Because I do notice that's a habit in me. And I don't want to be that way anymore. All right, everybody. So I'm going to work on that. I hope you're all working on your stuff, pursuing your dreams, going for what you want, learning what you're learning, figuring it out, having good experiences, finding fulfillment and meaning in whatever it is you're pursuing in life. This is the Paul Green Comedy PaulCast for November 3rd, 2024, episode 312. I love you all so much, and I will talk to you tomorrow.